So another short dropped out of nowhere. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to the 7th Helluva Shorts. And I don't know the title to this one. I did, but I completely forgot it, which is probably a good thing. Um, I'm gonna keep this short, but this for me came out of complete nowhere. See, I avoid spoilers, and part of avoiding spoilers for me means that I avoid anything that could be seen as spoilers. And in order to do that, a lot of times for various shows, including this one, I avoid people talking about it altogether as much as I can. And so if something is coming, in the case of something like Helluva Boss or whatnot, or even Amazing Digital Circus, or anything that's like doesn't have like a regular release schedule, I almost have to rely on a couple specific um, locations online in order to find out that it's coming out. The biggest one is the Discord server, which if you're not a part of and want to be, link is in the description below. But on the Discord server, we have a we have a channel specifically for Helliverse content, and usually someone posts there when a new short or whatnot drops. And for me, it's pretty much always out of nowhere unless people have talked about it there and stuff ahead of time. But otherwise, I never know what's coming. And so I had no idea this was coming because no one posted about it there. I found out yesterday that it had like been uploaded on Saturday and no one posted about it, which is surprising to me. And the thing is, when I avoid spoilers on like Twitter or Blue Sky or whatnot, what I usually do is if I see, because I obviously can't tag for everything, block tags for everything, if I see anyone even kind of talking about it, or even talking about something that looks like it's related to it, I skip past it and like avert my gaze and everything. I try to like not focus on what I'm seeing, and it helps. It's helped a lot with a lot of different things. Um, but the problem is, I haven't seen anyone even talking about anything new related to Helluva Boss outside of the Mission Zero special episode that's coming Wednesday. Like that is literally the only thing. Well, okay, that and the fact that Helluva Boss is coming to Prime. Those are the only things that I have seen being talked about for Helluva Boss. I have seen no one mention this until I was on YouTube. This is how I found out about it. I was on YouTube. I went to the just recommended videos tab, like when you just click on the YouTube logo on the page, it'll take you to like some recommended videos based on your like viewing history and whatnot. And all of a sudden, Vivzy popped up on there with the 7th Helluva Short, and I'm like, what? When did that come out? So yeah, had no idea this was happening, and I did see the title and the thumbnail when I saw that. That's how I knew what it was and everything. Um, don't remember it. I remember there were some what looked like human characters on the title. Of course, it could have been human disguises. I don't know, but that's all I remember about it, and I don't remember the title at all because I was actively trying to forget about it. You know, it's one of those cases where it's like I didn't want to remember. So basically the instant I saw it and realized what it was, I tried to like think of other things, and outside of like posting it to the Discord server and asking people why I didn't know about this. I tried to forget about it by focusing on other stuff, and apparently it worked. So I don't know what I'm getting into here today. The shorts have not been amazing to me, but apparently, like Vivzy Pop like talked about this before. Like the first 6 shorts were like all made together or something, like all scripted and everything together, and so they were all planned out for like a while now, and like they weren't like properly set up or something. I don't know. It's just that they were like the writing style, I guess, reflected more of like older Helluva Boss at the time, like when the shorts first started. But like I've had other issues with them, and I've talked about that before. Like I want more stuff like the first one, and I'm just hoping that this one is better at this point, because the shorts have really been disappointing me lately. So it's just not up to the quality that the series is, and that's what's bothering me. So hopefully this one proves me wrong. We'll see. Let's get into this. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. That is what I'm fucking talking about. See, like I had said, the past shorts, the most recent shorts, have been really disappointing me. Especially the last one, Mission Drive So. God, that was bad. Um, and they've been disappointing me because they felt like, one, entirely unfunny, but they've also felt like a waste of time. They felt like they weren't adding anything to these characters, this show. They felt like they just actively did nothing. And that's the worst kind of thing for these shorts to do, because that is literally what their job should be. These shorts should be seen as supplementary material that builds upon the series in ways that can't really be done in the main series for one reason or another, just due to time constraints or due to not having enough content to fill out an entire episode for it or something. Stuff like that. And I think that those kind of moments or shorts would be what all of them should be. Like, I understand the idea of having the shorts be just these different missions and everything, but especially since the show doesn't really focus much on that these days. But I feel like it works better when it's just it's more focused on other stuff, the character development, the growth, the emotional connection, etc. Because that again, that supplements the series and the characters rather than just doing some random gag. Operation Drive So was the worst thing that has been put out for Helluva Boss in terms of shorts and episodes, and even the original pilot, which Mission Zero is going to be the replacement of, which is coming on Wednesday. Which I'll talk more about in a bit here. This was the worst of this series, and worse than anything for Has Been Hotel as well. Probably the worst thing Vivzy Pop has put out, period. It was that bad. Like, it's one of the only things I would consider to be outright bad. And while not all of the shorts have been to that level, of course, they've more consistently been weak than not. There's been a couple of highlights for sure. I really, of course, outside of the first one with Sally Mae, I liked the goat one. I liked uh Ember? Emberlyn? I think that's her name. I liked that one with Emberlyn being, a little weeby weirdo. That one was funny as hell. But for the most part, they've just not, at least for me, hit. And I know there's some people out there who really like the more comedic tone to it because they think that that's what Helluva Boss was always meant to be. Which I think is stupid and is wrong also. If you actually watch the show, you know that's not what it was meant to be. But people assume that based on the pilot, and the pilot is never a representation of what a show is meant to be. It's a proof of concept. It's just like, okay, this is a basic, minuscule understanding of the show. This will give you the most basic bitch view of it, just to showcase what it is going to evolve from. The actual series will always evolve much further and become much more than that. And that goes for every pilot. Even pilots that become the first episode, like with Amazing Digital Circus. Amazing Digital Circus has expanded well beyond what that first pilot was. But it's even more so for stuff like Has Been Hotel and Helluva Boss. These pilots have really expanded beyond just the scope of that and become something much better. And I really appreciate that. And so all of this long-winded rant and everything is to say that this short, which I also still don't know the name of, is probably the best one since the first. Since, I can't remember what the first was called right now. But since the Sally Mae one, this is the best. And I don't know if that's sad. I don't know if that's just disappointing that it took so long to get another one on that level of quality. But I'm going to take it for what it is. I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to just enjoy that we got that. So let me see, because I should still have the YouTube link up, what this is actually called. Give my browser a second to realize it's been opened again. Come on. Oh my god, what the fuck? I don't have anything else going, so it shouldn't be, really lagging behind this badly, but for some reason it is. Gotta love, Gotta love dealing with internet and computers and stuff. It's fun, but a lot of times it can be a pain in the ass. I'm also just trying to fill out talking points right now while I wait for this to work. Clearly. But while I'm waiting for this, but yeah, this was the best since the first one. Oh, Mission Whacked. Okay, that makes sense. The mob theme. But yeah, this was the best since the first because it actually focused on supplementing the main material. This is mostly a supplement to not just Moxie as a character, but to specifically the episode in which we're introduced to his father and get to like see, Chaz and all of that. Um, but just that entire kind of relationship, the father child relationship that we see as being like extremely important within the scope of this show. Um, Between the likes of Blitz and Luna, Stolas and Octavia, Millie and her parents, we see there's a lot of parent-child relationships within this series, and it's one of the better focuses that this show tends to go with. That alongside, romantic relationships, which we also get a bit of in here. Um, and Moxie's has always been one of the most interesting because of the fact that he did grow up in a mob family. His father is a mob boss. He grew up around mobsters. His mother tried to raise him right, but, his father ended up winning in the end, even is implied, not necessarily 100% confirmed, but is strongly implied, and I believe it's true, to have killed his mother. Um, it's really a fucked situation. He even tried to force Moxie into wedding Chaz, even though he was already married to Millie, in order to help out the family. And so it's been made clear in the past that Crimson doesn't give two shits about Moxie. He sees him as a tool rather than, his son. And I don't remember how much I talked about this, like, back when I reacted to that episode and everything. If I, was I reacting back when that episode came out? Because you got to remember, I didn't react to this series at first because of how much I hated the pilot. I watched the series on my own time and did like episodic reviews, and then it was, I think, was season 2 that I started. But I think that episode season 1 or season 2. I don't remember. I'm not 100%. But either way, I don't remember if that was something I talked about back when this episode came out. But Moxie, in terms of family relationships, has always had the short end of the stick. And we saw how big of a deal that was for him. But we also saw that he was able to work past that to a degree. That he was able to find happiness with the relationships that he was in, especially with Millie. He found his own family with her. And has dedicated himself to being a better person than his father. And we even got to see him like directly stand up to Crimson, which was really cool. And so this short kind of tackling that and coming back around to that and showing that it is still affecting him, that it does still bother him, is important. A lot of people might say, "Oh, you're backtracking on his development." No, not at all. And that's something that a lot of people seem to like misunderstand. Just because he had one victory, just because he was able to stand up to his father there and everything, and just because he, with Millie's help, he was able to get away from that situation, just because he had that one victory doesn't mean that all of that trauma, all of that pain, all of that is just gone. That's not what that means. That's not how any of this works. The same goes for like overcoming a fear and whatnot. If you're overcoming a fear, it's not going to take just one victory over it. It's going to take a lot of time and effort, and it's going to take a lot of, yes, repetitious actions. You're going to have to do a lot of the same stuff over and over again to get over it. That's realistic. A lot of people think that when a character overcomes something once, they have to be over it completely. And that's just not how anything works, and that's actually a very toxic thing to teach. Because that's just not real. That doesn't happen. If someone seems like they're over something after one victory, yeah, they're probably masking. They're probably hiding their pain because they don't want to worry others. They aren't over it. That, again, it's just not how it works. And so, yeah, it makes sense that Moxie would have to deal with this again. It's necessary for his character to do so. And so in this, we see he deals with it not due to direct contact with Crimson, but due to a contract that Blitz gives him that has connection to it because of the mob similarities. Well, situation, let's say. He's set to take out this son of a mob boss. It's what the contract wants. But he finds himself relating to him and even plans to fake his death to help him get out of it. Because he sees himself in Paulie. He sees himself in Paulie, a young mobster who's being, constantly reprimanded and mistreated and just unloved by his father. And so he decides to help him and everything, but Paulie's kind of a fuck up and can't do anything right. But we see that after getting in bad with another mob family, because Paulie's an idiot and says the wrong thing, his father, Luigi Paisano, actually offers his own head instead. He offers to take the fall for his son and sacrifice his life for him, putting his son and his love for him before being a mobster, before, all of that shit. Which, kind of fucks up Moxie a little bit, because he's seeing a father choose his son first over the family, over the business. And it's something that he knows Crimson would never do. And he realizes that kind of in the moment. That his own father could have chosen to put him first in a lot of the situations that we saw during that episode. But that his father at every point actively chose to put the family, to put the business, all of that, before Moxie. And so he does end up killing Paulie, fulfilling the contract. But it's because Paulie refutes his father's love. It's because Paulie decides to basically celebrate his father sacrificing himself for him. And so Moxie understandably gets upset at that because of what that kind of action would mean to him. He kills Paulie with the angel statue. and then goes to the father, to Luigi and his men, and tells them, because they got a flat tire apparently, and they weren't able to make it to the other family in time. He tells them that Paulie is dead, that the deed is done, and so it's implied that Luigi will no longer need to sacrifice himself for him. In effect, Moxie was saving Luigi Paisano by killing Paulie. He was saving him because he had a son who didn't return the clear love that Luigi had for him. He was saving him because he saw in Luigi what he wished he could see in his own father. And he sympathized with that. And so he chose to save the person who was hurt by this, or who would be hurt by this, rather than the person who was, at fault for the hurting. And afterwards, he comes home and he breaks. He has a breakdown. He confides in Millie that he realizes that his father could have changed at any time. That his father could have turned things around. That his father could have put him as his son before the family and the business. And that he chose not to. And although Moxie knew his father was a piece of shit, it's like this just moment of clarity has helped him like understand it that much more. It's helped him like really just kind of come to terms with the fact that his father will never change. Come to terms with the fact that his father is just bad. As a father and as a person. And so it shows Moxie having to deal with that realization, and shows how much it hurts him. Openly crying in his wife's embrace. And this is the kind of stuff I want from these shorts. Because this builds on everything that episode had given to us. It builds on everything that we got from Moxie's growth and character development and backstory within that episode. And it allows us to see how much this continues to hurt him, to plague him as time goes on. It's not something, like I said, that just ends, that just is over. But it's something that he's going to continue to struggle with. But having this clarity is going to help him. And it's going to help him start to work past a lot of these issues. See, this is the character development and story work that I want to see with these shorts. And if this is true, that this one, is more recently written, while the first 6 shorts were all written together at the same time, it shows. It shows how much, higher quality this was. And like I said, it's on the level of Hell's Bells, which I remember the title of now, by the way. The very first of the shorts, which was, super poignant and emotional and story focused and character focused, just like this is. It built on and developed Millie's relationship with Sally Mae. And so now we get to see another short like that. And again, I don't know if I should feel sad and upset that it's taken this long to get another short on that level. But I am just happy to have another short on that level at this point. Granted, I'll be completely honest here. I want shorts like this on this level of quality for characters that we haven't gotten as much development for yet. Characters who could use a little bit more. Like Luna, honestly. And Luna's been like a major character, but compared to like Moxie or to a lesser degree Millie or like Fizzarali as another random example, we haven't got as much development with her. And obviously Blitz, no. We've gotten so much with him. Same with Stolas. But like Luna, we could get a little bit more with. Like show a little bit more of her hanging out with her new friend group, the other Hellhounds that she met at Bee's party. Like that would be really cool. Maybe show her going on like some kind of outing with her friends and maybe even Tex. Like, wouldn't that be so fun? I would love something like that. Like we got a little bit of development with her in the short with the Ned Flanders, Mr. Rogers type character. We got like a little bit of character work with her in that one, but it just didn't go far enough. And I feel like if we got like an episode focusing on that, it could like even talk about like how she's never really had friends before and how much this means to her. And it could really help develop her character and show her growth because my god, she has grown as a character a lot throughout the first 2 seasons. But yeah, that I want to see that kind of shit for sure. And I hope that with these episodes or with these shorts now, like, you know, being caught up to the original batch that was written and all, we get more stuff like that. And I'm wondering if we're going to get more of these like credit scene things, because that would be cool. It like adds to the credits a bit and allows them to feel like more fun to watch, like rather than just like, oh, like let's look for the voice actors and then stop the episode. No, we're actually watching for something now. We get to see more of Moxie and Millie being fucking adorable together, and that's awesome. I love that. I want to see more of that because they're cute. um but yeah, it's kind of like Gravity Falls, because Gravity Falls did that during its credits as well. It would show like little gags or little like things that built off of what the episode showed and everything. And on occasion there would be one that's just kind of like an almost still shot of like scenery or whatnot, but that was like for the really big cliffhanger episodes where it's like, oh, we're just gonna like say to be continued here, or show like, oh, Weird Mageddon has started, so we're going to show like like an almost apocalyptic view of what could be happening with like screams and stuff in the background in the distance, and it's like, that's fucking terrifying actually. Thank you for that, Gravity Falls. But seriously, that's the kind of vibe that this gives off. And I want more of that. Because I love that with Gravity Falls. There were some really fun moments and gags in that. And I would love to see Helluva Boss, even if it's just the shorts, tackle that kind of thing as well. I think it would be a blast. But yeah, this one was fantastic. I still think I like Hell's Bells a little bit more, just because I feel like there was even a little bit more of the development and growth with it. And I think part of the issue is I feel like we need to move away from the missions as like our focus over everything. And I've talked about this before, but it's like they're not helping anything. This like framing device that they kind of act as is not helping. It actually takes away. Hell's Bells proved that. I think being the only short that isn't a mission, it felt like it had more time to truly develop this relationship and allow things to feel more natural. It felt like it wasn't about like a job, but about growing these characters. And this episode, this short, while very, 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 very good, was held back a little bit by the fact that it was a mission. Like, I kind of wonder, like, what if Moxie just decided to, because something was, like, bothering him and he couldn't place what, decided to just go to the human world for a bit, maybe to thinking it would help clear his head, and he came upon this. He just happened to come upon this. And he got involved on accident and started to see, like, how it, reflected his own life. And then it worked from there. I feel like that would have made it hit even harder. That would have made it work better. Having it be a mission, having it feel like he was just obligated to go into this situation, kind of takes away from it a little bit. Though, I will say, Blitz seemingly assigning Moxie to this mission on purpose, just by himself, like, is also kind of showing Blitz's development. Because it kind of showcases him as like, oh, I understand that this mission is going to help Moxie. I'm going to put him on it solo so he can work some things out. Because Blitz knows about his father, too. He was there. He knows that Crimson is a piece of shit. And he even, at the end of that episode, I remember, he even tried to bond with Moxie and Millie, talking about how they all have father issues and everything. And, like, we know Blitz cares greatly for Moxie. We know that he actually genuinely, like, loves him. And we know that he's just really bad at showing it because it's Blitz. But it makes sense that Blitz, with all the development he's had and with the fact that he is being more open about his, his caring for people and is starting to grow as a person, it makes sense that he would want to help Moxie out with something that he knows Moxie has trouble with. And the thing is, Blitz could have absolutely just taken this for himself because he has father issues too. Because his father's a right piece of shit as well. But no, he chose to give it to Moxie. Because the mafia angle connected more with him, and he knew it would help Moxie out specifically to deal with this. Or at least that it could. Like, that's fantastic. And that's just in the background. I will acknowledge that. But I still think it would have worked even better, just a little bit better, if it had been like something Moxie had been like thinking about, even subconsciously, and kind of just stumbled upon and was able to work through without that necessary push. But I do like that Blitz did that for him. So I just want to acknowledge kind of both sides to that, like, argument, you could say. It's not really an argument, but you know what I mean. But yeah, either way, this was really good. This was, like, really good. Like, this was, like, on the level of an actual episode of Helluva Boss in terms of quality. And again, we haven't had that since Hell's Bells. So I'm just happy that we've gotten something on this quality again, because we desperately needed it, and hopefully this will become the new norm for the shorts going forward. That is my big wish, that is my big hope, that for the shorts going forward, this starts to be more of the norm for what we're going to get. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes and just hope for the best here. In the meantime, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of Mission Whacked? What did you think of just the character development and great character work? What did you think of the messaging and theming? Do you think this would have worked better if it weren't a mission? Let me know on stuff like that as well. And just as a note, it's fine if you disagree with me on certain points. Like, I encourage everyone to have their own opinions. Just don't be, rude about it. But I would love to hear your opinions, even if they differ from mine. So, thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.